everybody. Welcome to The Brave and the Boys. I'm your host, Jake.
And I'm your favorite host, Jordan.
Jordan is also my favorite host, too.
Cute.
We did a cute thing where we decided to write down who our favorite host is. So I was like, I'll write down Jordan, he'll write down me. Both papers said Jordan.
I was going to say my favorite host was Omnidog.
Really like Omnidog better than Nearmint?
They're both great people to talk with. And if we could ever get them again, you guys, we do this again.
I've stayed in touch with Jess. He'd do the podcast again.
Oh, I miss Jess. I need to watch more of his videos. It's been a little while.
It's been a long while, man. It's probably been a long while for our fans too, since we haven't posted anything in a while.
All 64 of them, which I can't believe, stuff 64 subscribers.
And only 62 of them are Jordan.
Exactly. It's been when I was doing our analytics, I think we did something earlier this year. Like I think we streamed earlier this year.
Yeah, it's been
or late last year.
It's been a long ass time.
It's
a lot has changed.
I know. I've noticed your background looks different again.
Yes, I've been through more. Some people say costume changes in a movie or something, but I've literally been through like 6 set changes through the course of our podcast. But so honestly, guys, I'm sorry it's been so long. Life got crazy, but we wanted to give you a little bit of an update on our life and get back into it because honestly, I miss reading comics. I miss talking to Jordan. I miss talking about movies. Like, I just miss it all, and I miss making this with you guys for you guys. So, yeah, man. So what's been going on in your life the past year?
Oh goodness. I don't know if I talked about it when last time, but I have a part-time, just like a side job, photography. I started that back in August of last year, and it's still going on, which has been cool. Besides that, I've been working on myself. I've lost around 50 pounds. I think I talked about it a little bit last time.
I remember we had one podcast that was supposed to be about some sort of a book or omnibus or something, and then it just became like a 45-minute ad for Yule.
which I still do on and off again, but yeah, it helps.
It does. I have like 6 bags of Huel that I need to get through.
Or give it to me. Either one is a valid option. And besides that, I mean,
you got a new job.
Yeah. Well, I still work at Best Buy, just different position. Instead of being a sales person, I'm now in the auto tech. So I get to install stuff in people's cars and break stuff. So what's new with you, Jake?
Dude, a lot. So, we started this podcast when I went to live with my parents' house temporarily. And through the course of the podcast, I moved back to my apartment, shot a couple episodes there, then had to make changes in my life, didn't want to live with my ex anymore, so I moved back to my parents' house. We shot a big chunk of our episodes at my parents' house. And then I got into a relationship, basically started living with my girlfriend at her place, and I didn't really have a laptop. I had a desktop computer, so I couldn't really lug that thing around, so we couldn't stream. Oh, am I boring you, Jordan?
No.
Hey guys, how about we all wait? We all wait for Jordan to finish.
Text back my significant other.
Oh.
Okay. I said I love you.
I didn't get a text.
Oh.
Can you edit in the audience going, "Aww"?
I'll see what I can do. If there's no audio there, it's because I got lazy and didn't do it.
As I was saying, so I started living basically at my girlfriend's house, and I didn't have the ability to record a podcast, but she had roommates. But they moved out at the beginning of October, so now we live here. We have a nice 3-bedroom, 2-story home. I got a laptop for school, so now we're able to film the podcast again. So I got a new home. I graduated community college, and now I'm going to university full-time for my marketing degree. And I got a new job. So
listen if I'm not lazy, I will put in a clapping reel there as well. Yeah. So I'll do both the aw and the clapping one.
Or we can add in a boo when you say you're still at Best Buy.
Maybe. If you don't hear anything and it's just us talking, well, you know what happened. So
you got too lazy and didn't do it.
Yeah.
Everyone should just comment. Someone should timestamp the video during that part and just comment, clap if we get a comment.
Yes, that would be nice.
But no, I started working. So basically, at FedEx, this guy came in and was shipping some equipment. I asked him, I was like, "So what are you shipping?" Because I had to occasionally ask. And he said, "Oh, a DAC." And I said, "Oh, a digital analog converter." And he was like, "You know what a DAC is?" And I told him I'd worked at Magnolia for about 5 years. And he was like, "You should come work for my audio company." Did not follow up on him. Thought he was a weirdo. I mean, the same time, some guy offered me to work at his morticianary home. So
and you took that one, right?
I was dying to get that job. I didn't like it. But finally, he came in a second time and was like, "You were supposed to call me." Totally forgot who he was. He told me the name of his company, and I was talking to my girlfriend, and she was like, "Dude, you hate your job," which I fucking hated my job. And I hit him up. They brought me in for an interview, and I've been working there for about 6 months now. So it's awesome. I've already been promoted from junior sales to sales, but I do a lot of things besides sales. So it's a really fun job. But yeah, so I'd love to show you guys. We'll do a room tour of my new room, as long as all the text works. We'll do a little bookshelf tour. Other than that, in this past year, I've only added one new omnibus. So before we get started on the things we're going to talk about, I want to show you my one omnibus haul.
Come on.
You have this book too, but you know.
You'll show both of us.
Wow. Batman No Man's Land Volume 2. Completing the set.
You can't see mine, but mine's up there.
So, we pre-ordered this book like a year ago because one day I saw it on sale for $80, and usually new omnibuses on Amazon are like over $100. So we pre-ordered it. I was in vacation, so I spent a lot of money. We went to Disney World, and I didn't realize that like I had only had like $95 left on my, or like $90 left on my credit card limit, and I was like literally $1 shy of what I needed to pay for the book. So they canceled my order.
Ooh.
So I had to pay $120 for this book.
Oh, I'll put in an eel track there if I do it.
How about this is where you can submit to our, donate to our Patreon.
Do we have one?
You can make one.
All right. I'm down.
Also, I want to point out, Jordan's wearing Batman pajamas. Had I known, I would have worn my Batman pajamas.
You're the one that said you want to do the podcast, and I said, sure. You had your own opportunity.
I did. I put on my Super Friend shirt.
I might outrank my Batman pajama shorts. Pajama pants.
So yeah. So the one thing we want to say to our 65 loyal fans, and we know change is always hard. We want to open up the podcast to things besides just omnibuses and comics. We have a lot of interests. I don't have the money that I used to have to devote to comic books, so we're going to talk Road Boys for life. So we want to talk about things like tech and movies and TV shows and Pokemon cards and Legos and basically anything that we enjoy talking about. Like we don't want to still be primarily comic focused, and that's what we're going to talk about today, but we do want to talk about things besides just comics.
Also just to go over, I did get some omnibuses in the time being.
You got a lot of them.
I just don't want to get them. But I got Ultimate Spider-Man.
Show one and then save another one for another podcast.
All right, I'll get the one that I said then. And cut to me holding the book right here.
Ow! Problem with my Batman pajamas is the button broke. So even though you can't see me, for all you know, I'm not wearing any pants at all. But my penis could pop out. Dang,
Marvel, and you can see my recording setup and the reflection because I haven't unwrapped this book yet.
I know. I was putting my book away wrapped up, and Jess is like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "What? I'm not gonna read it forever."
I think both of my No Man's Land 1 and 2 are still wrapped. I unwrapped Road 2. Okay, I started reading. It's actually very good. But on this podcast, if you can't tell what's up there,
we got a couple of things to talk about. So, our main thing, we're going to talk about Batman Year One. We figured it was a good origin to Batman. So we can give you a little history. Jordan can give you a little history on the book, and we're going to do our top moments. I was going to do top 5 moments, but I picked 6.
I'm not gonna lie. I didn't write out what my top moments were. I just reread the entire comic because the comic is my favorite moment.
Should we talk about this? The time when Isabel texted me and said, "Do you think Jordan would like the Absolute for Christmas?"
I don't even want to get into it.
And I fucked up and said no because I didn't want it, and I forgot that his whole thing is he wanted to collect all of Frank Miller Batman.
That's my issue. Okay, I'll bring it out. Let's say in the next podcast. I'll set it to the side. I have every single one of Frank Miller's Absolute editions of Batman, except for Year One. That's my only one I'm missing.
So we'll get there. And after that, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about some new Apple announcements. Then we'll get into Batman Year One, the history and our favorite moments. And then we'll do a tour of my new room and my bookshelf. And yeah, that'll basically be our podcast, you know?
Short and sweet, even though we're 13 minutes in.
So yeah, did you look into any of the Apple announcements at all? Any things that they announced?
No. But from what you've told me, it's dumb as fuck. I mean,
some of them are dumb.
Part of it's dumb.
Yeah. So they unveiled a new 10th generation iPad, which is, you know, below the Pro and below the Mini and below the Air. It's basically their basic iPad. Yeah. And they gave it USB-C, which is awesome. And they gave it something that I wish our iPad Pros had, which is a landscape camera. Because for those of you that don't know, the camera is on the top, so you're always off-angled when you're FaceTiming.
It's annoying.
The thing that's fucking stupid is they don't let it use the second-gen pencil, the one that charges wirelessly through connecting to the iPad and magnetizes to it. So you have to use the old pencil. The problem is the old pencil doesn't have USB-C. So you have to buy a converter to plug your pencil into your iPad, and it's just textbook Apple being dumb and not having... And they launched a new Magic Keyboard with it that has function keys. They don't even give you function keys on the iPad Pro Smart Keyboard. So, like, why would you need function keys on the basic iPad but not the Pro?
But then also not give you a very easy way to use a pencil on the iPad. When I would assume more people have a pencil than a keyboard for the iPad.
Yeah, and you have to buy the adapter, which is crazy. So, like, they gave it a landscape camera, which we want. They gave it USB-C, which we want, but they don't use the USB-C pencil, so weird. They announced a new iPad Pro. Again, the 2018 iPad Pro was probably the most significant drop they've ever done, and since then it's just been little iterations. They added a LiDAR camera to the 2020 iPad, which I have and I've never used. Other than that, then in yours, they added, is it mini or micro LED to the bigger one, not the smaller one. They put M1s in an M1 chip into his, and an M2 chip into the new one. But basically, the only new feature is called Hover, and basically you can hover the Apple Pencil above the iPad and have it do things. Other than that, the last thing was a new Apple TV. So the current Apple TV before this one already did basically everything you'd want a streaming box to do. Mm-hmm. The new one, what they did basically is they dropped the price like $30-$40. So, and they doubled the baseline storage, which is cool. But they took out the Ethernet port in the bottom tier one, and they took out a feature that I have that was in the previous cheaper Apple TV called Thread. So essentially what Thread is in the future, smart homes that equipment will all input Thread in them. So then all your things will work together no matter what like smart home like device it's from or company it's from. So it basically becomes like a router to connect all of your smart home stuff together. So I would say for extra $20, you get double the storage, an Ethernet port that's gigabit, and you get the Thread capability. So I think it's kind of a no-brainer. But if you already have last year's Apple TV, the only thing that they added that it doesn't have is what's the not Dolby Vision, but the one Samsung uses?
HDR10 Pro
Plus or HDR10 Pro or Plus.
So Plus is the actual, if I remember right, it's the actual certification, but I think Pro is their technology. I don't remember. It's Samsung related.
It has whichever one the Samsung one has, but honestly, Dolby Vision's far superior. So, I'm ready for this. They switched you to USB-C on the Apple TV charger. My picture fell in the background, which we'll look at when we give the room tour.
Okay. So the remote has USB-C versus Lightning.
Yes, which means if you're following correctly, you can now charge your Apple Pencil with your Apple TV remote. with a converter. The future Apple wants. Would it be too hard to like put like little pictures of some of the things I talked about when you edit it?
Right here. And right here. And right there is the new iPad Pro M2.
Hopefully people will give us slack for this being our first podcast back. You know, we're just getting back into it.
It's gonna take me like a week to edit stuff in.
Okay, just post it live then. Yeah, man. So now let's switch over to comic books, which is probably what you're here for. Do you want to give some history, kind of some background on Batman Year One, and then we'll go into our top moments?
Sure. So Batman Year One is a classic when it comes to Batman stories, just because it's the rebirth, the reimagining of his origin story. So you had Batman's origin story from 1939 till about what was it, 86? I would have to double check.
It was up until Crisis on Infinite Earths, which was 85, 86.
Yeah. So
well, because it came out right after Crisis.
Yeah. So you had the Golden Age of Comics, Silver Age of Comics, technically continuing all one story and yet not completely having the same story because different writers and authors didn't really care about continuity. So when DC finally decided to settle down and create their continuity starting point, they had an event called Crisis on Infinite Earths where they collided all the Earths into one and kept some cool characters from certain Earths and got rid of other ones.
Which we've talked about before on the podcast.
Oh yeah. It's a cool episode. And there is one thing I regret from that episode, but we'll talk about it later.
Saying you don't like the art?
Yeah. I like it sometimes.
Basically, after Crisis on Infinite Earths, it rebooted the continuity to one streamline, and they wanted an entry point that anyone could read to set up Batman. So they brought on Frank Miller to write a 4-part series that would be your jumping in point to Batman. So it chronicles the first year of Bruce becoming Batman in Gotham, and Jim Gordon, being a new beat cop, and it's a fantastic story.
It's definitely it holds up even to this day. 40 years later.
It still influences things today.
It's phenomenal. Yes, if you watch any of the newer Batmans, you'll see scenes out of it. Just quick example, Batman begins from 2008, pulled the bat scene where he summons all the bats from his cave, which is a comic.
Number 5. And what's interesting, I was going to talk about that scene as my number 5 when Batman escapes the cops with the bat, but I was going to reference another movie where they use that. They also not only use it in Batman Begins, but they use it in Batman Mask of the Phantasm.
Oh my goodness, I haven't seen that movie in a while. That's a great one to come back to.
That's one of my go-to sick movies when I'm homesick.
Pobrecito. But it's a great scene. It's definitely one of the best ones. Just it's one of the most action-packed scenes in the comic. Where Batman decides to save a woman's life who was about to get hit by a truck. And he jumps out of the way to save her, and Jim Gordon and Essex, right? I think that's how you pronounce her name. Or in a car chasing down the big rig that's running rapidly. Batman jumps in front of it, grabs her, pulls her out of the way, and because of that, he's now confronted by the cops. And he tries to escape into a building to get out of it. And
kind of like an abandoned, rundown building.
Exactly. That's kind of like in the it's
condemned.
They say that it's condemned, although there are homeless living in the building. And Commissioner Loeb decides because he's been threatened by Batman to spawn the area.
So you went deep into the story for your first one. I did my top 6 because we're supposed to do 5. I did 6 moments. I did it in order of the story.
Okay. After this one, we will go into your number 6 then. But it's one of my favorite scenes, especially because Batman gets shot to save the cat. Which
who shot the cat?
which is a great line. And it's a great reference or a great starting point for him saving Catwoman and caring about her. There's a lot of bat, cat. beginning
moments. Kind of referencing when I said it's still referencing influenced the comics to this day.
Yeah, Tom King pulled from that book very heavily, deciding on what the origin of Batman and Catwoman are.
Where did they meet?
It was on a boat.
I thought it was on a rooftop. But yeah, so I would say the first page is one of my favorite parts of the book. Basically, it juxtaposes classism in our two main characters, Jim Gordon and Bruce Wayne. But essentially, Jim Gordon is taking the train into Gotham, and he talks about seeing the city from the ground and how Gotham is it's no way to travel to Gotham on train because it's dangerous, and like how is he going to raise his wife here, raise his wife and there's a child there, and basically just shows the character that he is, and then it cuts to Batman Bruce Wayne flying in a private jet or a plane. It might be a commercial plane, and he just talks about how he wants to be on the ground, boots to the ground in this war that he's going to fight. And
he should travel amongst the enemy to know the enemy.
Yeah, and it just juxtaposes the two characters that we're going to be, because the book shifts, view from Jim to Bruce and Batman, and I just think that opening page grips me and juxtaposes our protagonist, which is just genius.
It's a phenomenal opening to the book.
Yeah. And then I would say my number 2 is in Gotham City. There's a lot of really, really bad apple cops, bad seeds, and they threaten Jim. They make his life really hard, and he finally just has enough. And the one cop that's really giving him the hardest time is Flask, and Jim just puts the beat down on Flask.
You're referring to the scene where it takes him to the woods?
Yep.
Yeah. Where Flask is to set Jim in line and get him to follow the rules and show him that being a goody cop isn't proper for Gotham. And Jim taking him out, saying how he hasn't had to beat a Green Beret in years, but pulls back on his training is hardcore, man. That's such a cool scene.
Yeah, dude, Jim is hardcore in this book.
Oh my god, this guy gives no shits.
There's a phrase, but in this book, Jim Gordon fucks. Then you have my number 3 moment. Basically, and they've shown this in Mask of the Phantasm. They've shown this in the animated Year One. They've shown this a couple of times. But when Bruce first gets to Gotham in a lot of iterations and in the story, he doesn't go out as Batman. He goes out in a way that doesn't make the criminals fear. Mm-hmm. So he gets injured. What happens? Does he get stabbed by Catwoman? Is that the injury that he's facing? Or
no, he gets stabbed by Holly, who I would assume is is about 13-year-old.
Oh, okay. She's
being pimped out.
She's okay, by Catwoman, right?
By their pimp, which Catwoman also follows the pimp rules.
And he's laying in a chair, he's bleeding out, and he knows all he has to do is ring a bell, and Alfred will come and save him. And basically, he's just wrestling with the fact of did I fail? Do I give up as this vigilante? Do I give up on this war? He doesn't know what to do. And then a bat comes crashing through the window, and it gives him an idea for his symbol.
Mm-hmm. I need a sign, Father.
Yeah,
he's tying to the bust of his departed dad, and there lies upon his head a bat. Which
so that's killer.
It's the basis for a lot of current Batman.
Yep.
Which makes sense. This is our jumping on point.
And my favorite my favorite moment in the book is my number 4 moment. So essentially, he decides to become Batman, and he goes to the Illuminati, or the elite, the rich politicians and fat cats of Gotham. Mm-hmm. And he just crashes into their dinner party, lands on the table, and he just says, "You have eaten well." And he just tells them that that's fucking done. This is his city now. Mm-hmm. And it's just so hardcore. I mean, probably butchered what happened, but just that line, "You have eaten well," is just gives me chills.
I mean, to truly experience this book, I would suggest to read it.
Yeah, it's a fun book. It's not all intense moments. There's one scene of him just riding a paraglider, mm-hmm. and it's just you can just tell it's an early iteration of his tech. It's just so good. Mm-hmm. But I was gonna do top 5. I have a 6th bonus moment. But essentially, at the end of the book, Batman has his thing, Jim has his thing, and Jim turns on the bat signal, I think, and Batman comes to him, and he teases a character that I would have loved to have seen Frank Miller write in this style, but he teases the Joker, and this adds a good book afterwards. I think it's The Man Who Laughs would be the next logical point in carrying on your Batman reading. So I definitely need to buy that one. I don't want to read it. I think it's it Ed Brubaker? Who's the man who?
Ed Brubaker. Okay.
Have you read it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I have it as a deluxe.
Nice. Oh, okay. Well, I need that.
Legit, my reading order or my order on the bookshelf is Year One, Man Who Laughs, Batman by Bruce Timm and oh my goodness,
Jeff Loeb.
And Jeff Loeb. Bruce Timm?
Honestly,
am I thinking Bruce Timm?
Bruce Timm did the animated series.
Yeah, Tim Sale. Thank you, Tim Sale.
That honestly is a good segue point. So here's what we'll do. I'll load up the camera on my phone, and we'll do a little tour of my studio, my office, and my bookshelf. And we won't go through the whole bookshelf too much, but we'll at least go through my Batman reading order, and then we can compare it to yours someday. But yeah, Year One is awesome. I think it's fantastic. And honestly, if anybody leaves a comment and says, I want a copy of Year One, I'll buy them a copy of Year One in trade. I'll give them a copy of Year One in trade. But I won't tell this to anybody. So if you get lucky and actually watch this portion of the video and you comment, you will get a copy of Year One.
I mean, we'll put a limit of, let's say, a month on this video. Because I don't know, what if we make it big and someone comes back here and they're like, hey, man, I want my copy of Year One.
Honestly, I'll still do it. One copy of Year One.
Listen, it's definitely should be on everybody's reading list. Anyone that likes Batman or wants to get to know Batman more as a character, as an origin, get it. There's not a doubt in my mind that this should be on everyone's shelf. All right, Jake, do you want to try out to do the room tour?
Yes, so I have it at max resolution. It's 18 by 19 by 20. iPhone microphone.
Are you on the same link that I sent you?
Yes.
All right. If it doesn't work, cut here. I'm hoping it works so I don't have to cut.
So here's my desk. Got my Spirited Away art. Got the new monitor. Got everything. This is kind of my random trade section. Some Funko Pops. My Pride and Joy is my Sandman Absolute, so that's the Pride and Joy of my collection. Here are Swamp Things, which we might actually pick as our next book. We're not sure yet for next week. Down here are Compendiums, Calvin and Hobbes, my Light Sable collection, and it looks like my frame broke when it fell. It's kind of a bummer. So I'll have to buy a new frame. But let's go look at our Batman collection. Let's put the two books away that need to go put away. So it goes Batman Year One, then the Batman Omnibus, then I have the Killing Joke, then all of these are the vintage Batmans that I own. They came in two sets, the Caped Crusader and the Dark Knight Detectives, or the Dark Knight Detective. Jordan has that set. I have the Caped Crusader. Batman Night Falls. Then the Road to No Man's Land, No Man's Land 1, No Man's Land 2. Then I have Batman by Paul Dini, Batman by Grant Morrison, Batman the Court of Owls, Batman the Robin Omnibus, the 52 Batmans, Batman the Rise and Fall of the Batman, which was Rebirth, Post-Rebirth, and then the current line. There's two more Batman trades, and that's what I need to get. Then I have my Justice League, my JLA, Justice League, Injustice, New Frontier. Then I have all the Crises, Flashpoints, Justice League, Watchmen, Doomsday Clock, Kingdom Come. Down here I have some Superman books, some Outer World trippy stuff, and my Green Lantern and Animal Man. So that is my collection. Up here you got my Batman statue. And yeah.
If that looked extra choppy, which I have no idea until I play back the footage, excuse us for trying out new technology through internet. Cause
honestly, we would rather try new things and have 10 terrible podcasts, but have each podcast do one thing better or that we learn from. So just be kind, guys.
Yeah, listen, I was watching the footage or how it looked on my recording, and it looked kind of rough, but hey, it's cool. We got a wireless room tour.
Yes, we did.
Maybe eventually we'll do my collection back there, or maybe I'll just take photos and I just go and I let it go across the page or across the screen. So,
I was thinking one last thing we should do before our last topic that we should talk about, which we didn't prep for, so bear with us. I thought of it during it. We should, because the movie comes out next week, maybe do like predictions for Black Adam, how it's gonna do, what we think's gonna happen in it, how it's gonna end.
So, I may have a spoiler for it.
I have seen the end credit scene already.
Okay, cool. That's the credit scene that I've seen as well.
Oh no, the one that The Rock talked about online like 50 times happened to leak.
I will leave it out, but it's cool. A lot of people, or at least in the comments, were saying that was the whole point why they went to go see the movie, was just for that one scene.
That was me with Venom, and I regret it. But I'm like in an abusive relationship with these movies, man. Every single one comes out, and I say, I tell everyone, this is the one that's going to change everything. This is the one that's going to save them. This is like.
Did you say that with Aquaman?
Yes.
Wow.
I said it with Wonder Woman 1984.
I still haven't seen that one.
Good.
I've heard it was very.
Okay. I feel like they gave The Rock complete creative control for this movie. So I bet it is going to be very quippy like Marvel, very jokey like Marvel. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And
this is the one. This is going to do it. Phase 1 of DC starts here.
Yeah, I actually think it'll be a new phase of with Walter Hamada stepping down. I feel like Dr. Fate is barely going to wear the helmet.
Fair enough.
Like, I think he'll have Nabu like in his arm like this most of the time. Like, do they really cast Pierce Brosnan and not show his face off as much as possible?
True. Very true. I forgot he was in the movie at all until I saw like some like interviews and stuff to build up the movie.
I feel like Hawkman might steal the show, or he'll be the blandest character in it.
I hope they do Hawkman well, because he doesn't do very well in the comics.
There's literally been animated movies with him where he doesn't have a single line.
Oh, he could be a cool character.
Like, I'm trying to think which one it was. I think it was the 2-parter Death of Superman animated series.
Hear me out. Rockman, goddamn. Hawkman, underrated.
He's cool.
He is cool.
But it's interesting how much this the tone has shifted from this being a standalone Rock movie as Black Adam to this is the one where the JSA come home, and it's like, okay, but dude, the JSA were around longer than dude, Dr. Fate has been around since 1940.
You know what? I need to read more JSA comics. I'm very illiterate when it comes to that, to the point where
want to borrow JSA on me? I got all 3 of them.
Probably. Because I've only know as much as what the animated series has taught me, which is almost nothing.
Hey, that just gives you more to learn.
It's a part of DC history that
I
haven't got into.
I doubt he's in it, but I want Rex Tyler, who's known as the Hour Man. He basically takes a super serum and he gets superpowers for 1 hour.
Oh, that does sound like a character.
So here's what I don't know, because I haven't been reading a lot about Black Adam, but
he's an anti-hero now.
Okay. Black Adam, in my mind, with the JSA, should have been a prequel to Shazam.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But it's not. It takes place in current time, or is it a prequel?
I told you I haven't been following the movie very
I'm asking
closely.
What do you think it'll be?
Oh, what do I think? Dude, of course it's gonna have to be something after.
Okay, so it's not gonna be a prequel.
No. So, all right, my prediction for the movie is that it builds from after Shazam. Okay. I have a feeling, or maybe I don't know. I'm looking at casting again, not too versed. Shazam will be in the movie for like a little bit.
I don't think we'll get a single scene of Shazam.
It would. It's his main nemesis.
Think about it. He should have been the end credit scene, not the character that did appear. But it's not a Kevin Feige DC version person in charge of it. It's The Rock in charge of it.
You know why the end credit scene's there, right?
Because
he demanded.
Yeah.
He demanded that person in end credit scene has to be in the movie.
Okay, spoiler warning. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
That Superman is in the end credit scene.
Yeah. Actual Superman.
Yeah.
And the rumor is they're coming out with the hint, like now that Walter Hamada's gone, Henry Cavill will be back as Superman.
That would be pretty cool because I think he is a very good Superman. I do like it. I mean, even Man of Steel, and I like him in Justice League as well. Both the Scott Snyder and the extended Justice League edition.
Should we fix it in post and add a little Zach there?
Oh, it just he pops out of the corner.
And it's like, hey, my name's not Scott.
Oh, the Snyders changing DC up for the last decade.
But yeah, so let's talk about next week. Or next time we do one, maybe next week or next 2 weeks. Wow,
already putting off the podcast. No, I get it,
man. No, we can try to fit one next week. I just really want to thoroughly read it because I want to reread it. But do you want to do Mr. Miracle, Strange Adventures, or Swamp Thing? Or might be a little boring. Not a lot happens in it.
Which one?
So, okay, I'll pick 3 things, or I'll throw it out for suggestion. We could do Swamp Thing, the first trade.
Mm-hmm.
We can do Mr. Miracle. We can do Strange Adventures, or we can do The Man Who Laughs.
Ooh, you know what? Because we did a Batman one, I think we need to change it. I would love to do The Man Who Laughs because it's a great recreation of the first Joker moment. I would say Mr. Miracle.
Okay.
We get to talk about depression.
Yeah.
I can use my degree for something.
Can you edit the podcast so it looks like we're in a 9-panel grid?
Oh, you know what?
Have you read you read Mr. Miracle?
Not all of it.
Okay.
It's good. Big Bertha's in it.
Is it Big Barda?
Is it Big Barda? Or am I thinking the golf club's Big Bertha? I am thinking of the golf clubs. Big Barda. And
calling Zack Snyder, Scott Snyder, calling Big Barda, Big Bertha.
I'm done, dude. I can't. It's gonna be midnight.
On that note, thank you guys so much for watching.
Thank you to all 64 of you that are still subbed to the channel, because I know I wouldn't be.
Yes, I'm sure after this one there'll be like
there'll be 12.
Yeah,
we'll have less.
Yeah, we'll owe YouTube a follower.
All right. Well,
honestly, guys, thank you so much. If you haven't subscribed, please do. If you wanna, I'm not even gonna mention what the contest that we're running is, but guys, thank you so much. We love doing this, and
I miss doing this. See you hopefully next week. Bye.